Hi there, I'm Evan.
And I'm Mark.
What do we do today, Mark? Today was very practical. We realized that maybe half of what Mark listens to is hurting his confidence. And I give him a very detailed, specific strategy to skyrocket his life forward. You're going to love it.
And I cry.
That's true.
What's going on?
You look extra tanned, Mark.
Do I?
You're not actually extra tanned, just the lighting. The lighting is a little like Mark just got out of the tan shop.
I actually am tanned because I spend a lot of time outside. I've spent the last 2 days outside in the sun.
It's just a contrast. Anyway, I like your one word on the bookshelf behind you. It's good.
Ah, yes. When I was placing that there, I was like, Evan's going to appreciate this.
So Eben Pagan was commenting in our group how everybody's copying my corner, showing a corner in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. So now Mark Drager's doing it too. Here's the corner shot.
I had to. I told you why I had to, right? I mean, I sent you that video that showed the whole setup for this whole teleprompter thing. So yeah.
All right. What do we got, Mark? What are we doing?
Hey, welcome to Something to Prove podcast. How you doing, Evan? You okay?
I'm good.
I've been really struggling to reach out to you for the last week, I've realized, because you guys are going through such a heavy thing and dealing with, the stuff in your family and everything, that every time that I think of reaching out to you, it just seems so insignificant. And so I've been proactively not.
What are you going to reach out to me about? My landing page? That's worth reaching out to me about.
No, not your landing page.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know what you're reaching out to me about.
Honestly, the biggest thing that I've been thinking about. The biggest thing I've been thinking about is for the last week or week and a half, I have been sad. I've been I'm really trying not to get to the place that I was 2 years ago, when I got really depressed around this time of year.
Okay.
But I'm really struggling, quite honestly, to shake this feeling, this sentimentality, or this feeling like the best days are behind us. Wow. And I didn't want to talk about it last week because, you wanted to talk about other things. I mean, update to the audience.
Did I co-opt the conversation last week? What did we talk about last week?
We talked about we do hard things. We talked about why hasn't Mark sent out those emails yet? Quick update. I've started sending emails out. I've sent out.
What were the emails?
That feels good. It feels good to take action, send out some emails. So I selected. There's 5 really good clients that I've worked with for a very long time.
Oh, client emails. Okay,
and I haven't asked them for anything. So I sent them very direct, please help me type emails explaining who I was looking to connect with, asking for referrals and introductions. So I was able to send those out. And then tomorrow, I believe, an email is scheduled to hit the list of 50 that I was emailing in April and May that I stopped emailing in June. So progress is being made on the outreaches. It only takes Evan 5 weeks of drilling it into my head for me to take action.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it last week you were kind of being a baby? It's like, are we talking about this again? Are you bringing this up again? Was that it? That's what happened last week. Yeah.
There
okay.
You go,
and look what happened. He did it. Great. Now, Mark, landing page. We need it. Let's go.
Yeah. I know you want a landing page. I'm not I'm on vacation this week, so there's a whole bunch.
You're always on vacation. When are you not on vacation? It's like you
live
on vacation.
About? I take vacation at the beginning of July. I took 5 days at the beginning of July, and then I always take the last week in summer off because my kids start school on Tuesday. Right. So the day we're recording this is the last week of summer. It's going to come out next week, so this will be old news. But our kids are going back to school on Tuesday, and my father-in-law was in the hospital last week, and he was supposed to move my brother-in-law, and so now we have their kids with us for a week. So we have an extra. So not only do my 4 kids, ranging from 6 to 14, we now have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old in our house as well.
But wait, you just came back from something too, right? With your wife?
Yeah, we went away for 4 days to Blue Mountain.
Right. Okay. So it's like, okay. I feel like you're always on vacation. Anyway,
of course.
Keep going.
So
sentimentality. The best days are behind you.
No. Yeah. So I didn't want to talk to you about this.
The days behind you weren't actually that good.
Great.
Okay, keep going. Like who Mark used to be wasn't that great.
Thanks, man.
No, but compared to where you're at now.
Yeah. So this is the thing. This is like, so I know that I've been feeling this way a bit for the summer. But
on that vacation, that's the problem. Okay, keep going.
Anyway, it's
we're gonna let Mark talk. Okay, I'm done. Go.
I just didn't want to bring it up last week because rationally I have the answers. Up here in my head, I have all the answers. I know what I need to do. I know that taking action feels good. I know that we do hard things. I know that there's second and third and fourth and fifth chances. I know all of that stuff. I just have a real problem at this time of year. Like it's the third or fourth, maybe it's the fourth or fifth. But last year, I at this time of year, it was the long weekend of Labor Day, and I started saying to myself, like there is no loss, there's only opportunity, right? You're not losing the summer, you're not losing time with friends or family, you're not losing anything. But yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bring it to you last week because I don't want to just sound like a big whiny baby.
You were pretty whiny baby last week anyway. Are we talking about these calls again? Yes, Mark, until you do them. And then he did them. Yep.
Anyway, I don't know. I was thinking all yesterday because I was outside working, and I was thinking yesterday about, okay, I'm going to talk to Evan at 3. I got to make this time count. It's got to be something. It can't just be repeating over and over and over again.
This is it. We're ready.
I can't shake this. I can't shake this feeling. And so I was saying to Jack, like, I don't know if I should go to counseling. I don't know if I'm actually like, you've made remarks about being manic depressive, and I've lived with someone for many, many years who had mania, and I've lived with someone for many, many years who has clinical depression. And so it's not anywhere near that. And yet, day to day, hour to hour, I don't know, man. I'm just worried or scared that yeah, we've done it. What?
Okay, but those are two different things. Whether it's happening every year, but versus we've done it. What, like the best days are behind you. What best days? What was so good that was behind you?
I don't know. I don't know how to. This feels very vulnerable now. I'm used to being vulnerable. This feels very vulnerable now.
You're fine, Mark. We all love you. This is the same wharf cuddly place with panda bears.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we break it down, I think in my marriage, Jack and I are stronger now than we've ever been. So I'm not worried about that. But my kids are getting older. They're growing up, and so we're experiencing new things, which is great. But I miss some of what we had
So
in the
kids,
business.
great.
I'm not having more kids. We have 2 extra kids this week, and we're like, oh my goodness, 6 kids. Like we can't even go anywhere in the same vehicle. We have to drive 2 different vehicles, and we have a minivan. We can't fit them all in.
Okay, so you don't want to go back. Keep going.
Yeah. So, in the business, I think we had a synergy that we're trying to rebuild. I think we had a structure that worked, not perfectly, but it was something. I think it's just, I don't know. It's when I have experience in this past, and I talk to people at Mastermind and stuff about it, they've always just gone like, oh, that's just the blues. You get that way for 2 or 3 weeks.
Who said that? I've never said that. What?
Said that. Other people have said that.
Oh, other people who you don't respect. Great. Okay, keep going.
I respect them.
Whatever. Keep going. You're
so black and white about this. This is why do I bring you these things?
Because I don't let you sit in muck. You don't respect them and their opinions on these things, so I'm not going to let you pretend like you do. Keep going.
That's it. It's listen. I know rationally. I wake up so excited for the day and potential, and I end every day disappointed. And I feel like I used to be someone that I'm not now. I feel like I've lost stuff and I've not rebuilt it, and I don't know if I can.
Hold on. What did you lose? The business?
I feel like yeah, like the business the business, the team. I don't want to talk too specifically because I know people on the team. No, it's not that. I know people on the team listen and they take these things to heart, and I don't need them to take it to heart. I'm not closing
They love
down,
you and they care for you, Mark.
I'm
So
not
it's fine.
closing down the company. I'm not doubting our mission. I don't even doubt them. I doubt me. I doubt.
No, but what you had was like, I went through this with Alex last year, where he was struggling with being a leader and leading the people on this team and all this stuff. And he's like, man, you know what? When I was at in high school or university, I ran the Go Club. Did we talk about this? Okay. So that's the same thing. It's like, no, you weren't a great leader back then.
I know I wasn't a good leader.
No, but you're way better than, you don't want Fanta from 2018. Ew.
There's like, so like Tom Bilyeu keeps mentioning this line, like genius is a young man's game. I think
he's hardcore on that right now. It's
so hardcore. He
really
talks about it every single episode, every single conversation. And then he always explains that he just thinks that it's this perfect combination of naivete and confidence. And I had that. And as I've gotten older, I've learned I've spent the last 2 years learning a lot more about myself and my weaknesses. And every time that I strip something away, I know what my strengths are. I'm wide awake to it now, man. So I don't know how to explain it. You
don't want to be, you're romanticizing something that wasn't romantic.
I'm a sentimental, romantic person.
Yeah, but you don't want it. You don't want, great. Like, go back to 2018. You send 2020 Mark to 2018. You will hate your life.
Maybe in 2013, maybe in 2014, maybe there was.
Oh my God, you'll hate your life so much.
I've run my business.
You'll be so depressed and disappointed with yourself in what you were, and disgusted that this is what you are so romantic about. Mark the entrepreneur. For sure. The things that made you proud, like, can't believe that make you proud. You've grown so much since then. There's no way you want to be now. Maybe father, like seeing the kids come out and that's a different story. You can't get that back unless you have more kids. But Mark the entrepreneur, 2013, 2014, 28, like, you're so much better than you used to be. You're not actually, if you went back and sat and you could go back in time machine and sit with 2013 Mark, you'd be like, oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God. I can't believe how I'm talking. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe how I look. I can't believe how I'm treating people. I can't believe how mistakes I'm making. It's not that romantic. You're choosing to remember like a couple great memories, but you're so much better. You're so much happier. You're so much more effective leader, communicator, entrepreneur, marketer. Everything that you want to be better at, you're way better at. You're still a long way to go, but you're way better at it than you used to be. You don't want to go back to 2013, Mark. That's my rant. I was getting emotional.
I just don't know how to shake this feeling, man. It's been, it's been years. And I was just thinking last night, last September, I was in Boston, and you were hammering me on, like you're hammering me right now on the landing page. Where's the landing page? Who's doing the landing page? Why aren't we doing the landing page? And I'm like, and that was the exact same conversation we had last year about your website. You came to my office in August. I said, I'm taking 2 weeks of vacation and then going to Boston. Okay. And in Boston, you hammered me on why am I not pushing you? Why it's not going on? And it was the same conversation we had last night. And I'm like, it's the same. It's a year later, and nothing has changed. And I don't have any more answers. And we haven't.
Well, I was way harder on you in Boston than I was last night. I know last night you messaged me like, we got to put you through the system. Like, what system?
I know you were, but it's the same. It's the same.
But the same feeling that you struggle with is it's the always be jumping. You're not jumping. Whenever you stop jumping, you get unhappy. The fact that, and I don't necessarily know how to solve this problem. This is where it could be some insights, but the fact that it always happens in the last week of August or whatever, the fact that it also syncs up with the time where you're always taking vacation and you're not jumping, it creates this feeling. When you stop jumping, you get anxiety and frustration. But anxiety for sure about the next thing. I don't know how you always be jumping through a vacation. That's the unknown piece, but the always be jumping is the problem. And when you stop jumping, you're not happy. Always be jumping. This will keep happening until it's like you need to have the momentum.
Yep. Again, rationally, I have it all. I just don't know how.
Well, how do you force yourself? Like, a part of it is the thought process. Like last night so to give a little context, Mark's helping with my website. We were on a call last week talking about what we're going to do next. I had a role, Mark had a role, Alex had a role. Mark's Alex on his team, although he wasn't even on that call, but he was on vacation. And I did my project. Alex did his the next day.
The day before.
Oh, he had already done it? He'd already rolled it back? Oh, okay. So Alex was the soothsayer who previewed what we were talking about. And then, Mark's role was to do the new landing page, come with a new copy, new ideas. And we brainstorm an idea of what we're going to do. And it just has to be kind of put together. And so yesterday, now it's been a week. Yesterday was a week. Yesterday was a full week. He messages me and he's like, hey, I realized, I think it was out of the blue. I don't think I even messaged you. Did I message you first about this?
I think you just I was asking you about your YouTube campaigns because you had split up your YouTube campaigns and we're going to run them separately. This was based on you sending me the budget. You said we spent X in August, we earned Y. And then that's what kicked off the conversation.
All right. I don't fully remember. But anyway, it seemed unrelated. It seemed unrelated. I could be wrong. I don't feel like I'm wrong, but anyway, Mark says he's got to put me through the system. And we need to onboard you as a regular client, put you through the system. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are we talking about? Who, so that the team can help? The team's not helping. Alex did his thing already. Who else do we need? Well, project manager. And it's like, but what for you to manage your time? The only thing we're missing right now is Mark has to make the new landing page. We don't need a project manager for that. So as it grows and as Mark scales his team and as Mark gets his next copyright and all this stuff, sure. But what are we missing right now? All we need is the landing page. Focus on that. And that's where you get lost. That is not jumping. Your next step of we should onboard you and put you through our regular process is not the next step, is a lack of, it's complexity. That's the enemy of jumping. And what you need to do is jump for your own happiness, for your own sanity.
See, but as long as your work is always on the side, then I get to it when I make time to get to it. Right. So we spoke on Wednesday. The very next day, Thursday, was when I started my vacation, so to speak. But every day, all day, every day is just lined up with stuff because there's just lots to do that's not work related. So
But the problem isn't that
so I just haven't set aside 2 or 3 hours to do this. And
yes.
And Alex can't wireframe to make it easier for me because he's not aware of the conversations we've had. Louis can't bring in a freelance copywriter to write it for you because he's not aware of anything. And it's not in the system, so no one knows about it. They're not aware of what we're doing, so they don't and they don't learn the lessons that we learn along the way. They don't sure. They aren't able to scramble it. So any one of our other clients, if I was on vacation, Louis would be finding someone else to do the work that they'd be sending to me, and I would just be copy editing or changing.
Yeah, but nobody else can do the work. Nobody else can do this work.
So it's on me to spend 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours doing it. And I haven't scheduled that. I haven't, out of all of the priorities I haven't made it a priority.
Agreed. And that's fine. If you said, hey, I'm on vacation, I can't prioritize this right now because I need to be with my 6 kids because I'm thinking about having 6 more. This is my field test. Awesome. But the thought process and answer back of you have to be through the system is not the jumping next step. That's the problem. It's the thought process, is how you approach it and think about it that slows momentum instead of building momentum. Not just for my happiness, which would be much happier, but for your own happiness, and sense of worth and feeling like stuff is happening. Like correctly assessing what the next step needs to be and not just where the future could go and what it could look like, and then realizing that we're nowhere close to what. For anybody listening, watching, if you don't know Mark already, he's got these high ambitions for what he wants to accomplish and believe that he can do it, and then gets depressed over looking at what he's got right now and thinks the gap is too big. So how do you close the gap? By doing the work. Like the higher that you can get by saying, hey, I sent out my emails, and not having to wait the 5 weeks of people pushing your face in. Same thing, correctly assessing what the next step is to get momentum. Because you're great at figuring out the long-term structure and where it can go. It's what are we doing right now to actually feel like there's progress? You want progress. I like that. That was good.
Clip it, guys. Throw that on Insta.
Good job, Carmichael.
Team.
Good job. Yeah. When there's no progress, you get depressed. But that's what happens when you go on vacation and you're not thinking about work and there's no momentum happening.
I'm thinking about nothing but work. I spend all day thinking about work. It's I know.
What
day is today? Today's Thursday, Wednesday. So Tuesday, I spent 6 hours on a little mini excavator moving dirt around, and all I was thinking about was work.
Yes, I know.
That's why I used to like cutting the grass, because it was the time when I could actually just think and stuff. So all I'm doing is thinking about stuff.
I'm not doing anything. This is why you get more depressed. And then you regret that you spent all that time thinking about the business and not enough time being present, whatever, mowing the lawn with the kids, ongoing. The more that you're just in your head and not doing is when you're going to get the anxiety.
But at what point do you just say, this is me, and it's clear that I'm not going to change or can't change or am not changing, no matter how much I want it?
Oh, I want to leverage it. I want to use it as a superpower. Like, you have to always be jumping. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know what the exact, like, how do you always be jumping inside of a vacation? But you have to be. Like, you have to figure out how to make that work, because you're already thinking about it anyway, which is going to negatively impact your. Like
you talked about, hey, this angle, right? You started off by talking about, in the group, the Evan corner angle. You changed your angle again. You used to be straight on. You went back to the old one.
I'm playing with it. Dude, I've saved I figured it out. My shoulder. Oh, I'm so happy. Anyway, keep going. Okay.
Well, so this whole setup, I thought of it in May. I bought the stuff in June. It showed up in July. And then finally I'm like, I got to do this. Like, I got to get this figured out so I can get what I want, and I can get my nice shelving up there that's starting, and I can put my things there that I want. Like, that stuff's all just exciting, but I know that it doesn't help the business. It doesn't help the channel grow. Like, it doesn't actually do anything. Sorry, you were going to say about your back?
No, that was a side note. We could stay on this. We can go there if we need to later, but that's a total different tangent. Okay, but the point was always be jumping. The point is you're on vacation, air quotes, but you're still thinking about work even if you're not working.
Yes.
And that's going to cause anxiety, because you're not disconnected, but you're not doing anything. And the more you think without taking the action of jumping, you're going to lead to getting anxiety and then feeling this way, which is why it happens every year. Because every year the same thing happens, and you take your vacation and you're thinking a whole bunch about what the world could be. And then you look at what you've got right now and you realize this sucks. I'm nowhere close. And then you get depressed.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this is great. So,
not to ever take a vacation.
Well, you need to, and I'm thinking out loud.
Hold on,
right?
I don't say, Jacqueline, Mark, I got to pull this clip, Mark's happiness ultimately depends on him always working all the time.
That's not true, because at the same time, you're like, what do you reminisce about? You're thinking about, well, I'm not, the kids are getting older. I'm not spending enough time with the kids. But meanwhile, when you're on vacation, you're on the digger thinking about work, and you're in your basement building your, whatever those things are, shelves behind you with my book, which I'm happy about. Yes. I don't see the purple one. That's a little sad, but
the purple one that Nina dropped off at the office is upstairs on my bedside table.
Wow. All right.
What, is that not even better? Being on my bedside table, I look at it every night.
Okay.
I look at it every morning.
All right. Okay.
Hey, You signed it for me, but you didn't even write a note or anything. There was no like, Mark, you're the best. It's literally just like, believe. Evan Carmichael.
And no Carmichael, just hashtag
Evan.
believe in Evan. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking out loud, right? One, you either need to actually put in the systems to actually disconnect and not focus on the client projects, or you have to find a way to do something every day and turn it into action day. Like, I think it could be actually the most liberating time for you, where you're saying I'm going away on vacation, so you're not expected to do anything.
There's so much.
What?
I know you're not. I've taken calls. Yeah. I've taken calls and emails every day that I've been on vacation.
Sure, whatever. We're still doing this podcast. I mean,
yeah.
And you could have canceled, and I could have canceled, and I mean, I don't know the last time we actually missed an episode, but I'm sure we did somewhere in there. And if I said I'm doing some family stuff, or you said I just want to spend time with the wife, awesome. Like, we'd understand, and we come back next week, or we schedule for another day. Fine. You're choosing to do it. That's the thing. Like, what are you going to choose? Like, using your vacation as a chance to choose the projects that you actually get to build momentum towards, where you're not necessarily responsible, nowhere near as responsible as in the fulfillment of a regular project like you would be on a normal, Thursday, but then getting to pick something like your office, like what you've done, and you've thrown something, you thought about it in May, and finally now in September, something happened. Like, that's the thing that, minor things happened. This is where typically Mark would get in his own way and say, no, I planned it and I ordered it. And I'm gonna, yes, but it's September, like May to September. You could have done it faster, right? This is the thing. Here's the thing, Mark. This is the thing. It's getting that, like, taking in your vacation mode where you still are going to spend time, because you're not going to spend 24/7 with your wife or with the kids, even on vacation mode. So the time that you're not going to spend with them, that you're going to focus on your business, something that you like doing, that you can actually throw some massive action at. Like, man, my landing page is fun. That's fun. Right? So that you don't come back feeling like you've, on the one hand, you got no work done. You just thought about everything, got nothing done, and feel depressed. And on the other hand, feel like you wasted that week with the kids because you weren't actually with them, because you're sitting there worried about the business and where it could go. So it's like the worst of both worlds. Right?
Welcome to the mind of Mark Drager.
But it's not that hard to fix. Like, inside of your vacation, when you're still going to do some kind of work, picking something that you want to attack and throw massive action about, so that when you come back, you actually feel better that, oh my God, I can't believe I did this.
I do that. It's just not work-related things, right? Like,
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, less time thinking and worrying about the bigger picture and how far away you are and how much you suck and how it used to be better. And use that time, which you're using anyway, to think. So you're already disconnected from vacation stuff, family stuff. But I am picking the projects that I need to make progress on or want to do. They're just not work projects. They're just not. That's what I'm saying. You have to pick a work project. Because you're thinking, when would I have time to do all the stuff that I have to do on vacation? But you're spending that time anyway, thinking and worrying about your business.
So what I'm saying is, let's be practical. So The other day I spent 6 hours on a little excavator, which was like riding a Bronco. My back hurts so much, man, after that. But so, like, when does that work take? Like, I was saving that work. I could have done that work in the middle of August or at the end of July, but I saved that work for vacation. I'm doing that work. That work has to get done.
Yeah. Great. So 6 hours on an excavator where you have time. It's boring enough that your mind is wandering and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of you sitting there worrying about the future and how big a thing it could be and how far away you are and how 2013 was your year, right? Let's use those 6 hours for good. What, like, you could use that for Evan's landing page. You can be sitting there thinking, this is how it's going to work. I can see it right now. I'm building my backyard. I'm building Evan's landing page. We're building amazing things. Let's go. I'm in the building mode right now. You know what the headline should be? It should be this. When you get your greatest ideas, when you're doing something physical, when you're running, when you're showering, when you're excavating, when you're mowing the lawn, you're choosing to use that time to go down this black hole of self-pity instead of actually using it for something productive. Now, you can't be on the excavator with your laptop banging out copy, but you could have a great skeleton or framework, a little notepad beside you or something, and you could have finished the skeleton from my landing page. And my landing page is just an example project. Screw my landing page. It could be something else. It could be Fanta's landing page. It could be the emails you need to send. Like you're spending 6 hours of mental energy on things that are draining you instead of things that you could come away feeling, oh my God, I made so much progress. I did the backyard and I solved this big problem that I've been wrestling with.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it's the same reason why I won't let myself play video games. Like I literally buy games and then never play them because I can't enjoy them, because while I'm playing them, I'm feeling guilty for wasting all this time and creative energy on something that could be better used elsewhere.
Yeah, but then you spend 6 hours on an excavator doing something that's a giant waste of time too.
It was great. No, it wasn't a giant waste of time. I've been waiting forever to do it.
But for what? Who cares? It's a waste of time.
Because I have to put a fence around my pool.
No, you don't.
I have to put a fence around my pool.
That is nowhere near the highest use of Mark Drager's time. You chose to do it. It's fine. Great.
I have to put a fence around my pool.
Great. Get somebody. That's not the highest use of Mark Drager's time. That's the highest use of Mark's time, is building a fence around his pool. It's nowhere close.
Listen, I did think of you because for this fence that I'm putting in, I have to buy a lot of concrete. And so I added it up and I was like, holy smokes, I got to buy 64 bags of concrete, which is 2,000 pounds. I was like, oh, gosh, do I really want to go to Home Depot and load by hand this? And they can't drop a skid because it's too heavy. So I'm going to have to do 2 or 3 loads. That's going to take me 3 or 4 hours. But there was an option to have it delivered to my house. But the delivery cost $75 more. So I paid the $75 and had it delivered. And then I thought, okay, great. I just freed up this time. I better put it to use.
And what did you do with it?
I'm having we have no power tomorrow for the entire day because they have to replace our electrical panel. So I had to prep all of that stuff and get all of that stuff cleaned up. And then I went outside and spent half an hour with the kids and watched them go for a swim. And then now I'm talking to you. So.
Okay.
But I did think of you. I did think, hey, why don't I do the Evan Carmichael thing, which is just throw money at the problem.
Is that the Evan Carmichael thing?
Throw money at it, and then, hey, how's your TV screen going? Hey, throw money at it and use your time elsewhere. That's the Evan Carmichael
it's coming.
approach.
We got our couch. We got our couches, but TV screen's on its way. I should ask Nina. The screen is ready. The projector's ready. The screen isn't.
I was it was a hard decision for me. I even called Jacqueline afterwards to be like, hey, Jack, just so you know, rather than me, because I own a pickup truck, right? Rather than me do 2 or 3 loads to Home Depot all by hand and stuff and spend a few hours doing it, I'm getting it delivered tomorrow morning. I hope you don't mind. $75. She's like, whatever. But to me, it was a big deal.
So moving the barn, what a big deal is, and valuing your time at more than $75 for 3 hours. That's the process. But still, even if you were doing that, even if you like, the whole backyard exercise is a giant waste of time. But if it fills your soul, great. Like me playing League of Legends is a waste of time too, but it fills my soul. And I turned it into business where I'm answering questions and still bringing value to people. But last night we had, I don't know, like at any given time, you've got 10 people watching, right? It's not a good use of time. I like it. So it's fine. And I know that that's in my calendar every 5 days a week, right? That's a big deal. So if you want to do it because it brings you joy, awesome. But inside of the time, like it's the time that you're still spending thinking while you're building the fence or on the excavator, is it helpful? You're thinking about business. So you either stop thinking about business or you think about business so you're shaking your head, right? Like, because
I can't not think about my business.
I would tend to agree. I'm not trying to change you. But these are your 2 options. One, you stop thinking about business and enjoy the moment and turn that into a parenting moment. And you have one of your 18 kids next to you and you're showing them how to do it, or you're zenning out and focusing on the grass and the smell and the whatever. Great. Right. Or you are thinking about business, but in a constructive way around how to always be jumping. Like, this is how you said, let's get practical. This is how you make it practical. You spent 6 hours on the excavator yesterday. You could have been thinking about a project that you can build momentum on instead of all the things that you're not doing and how much you suck.
I will try that.
Yeah. As soon as the trick is you're going to go there naturally. You will go to business naturally. And listen, all entrepreneurs do it too. Like, for someone to say, yeah, I totally disconnected. I never thought about my business once on this 2-week vacation, is not realistic. And maybe is unhealthy too. Like, I think you can get the greatest ideas when you're on your trips too.
I said to Jack, we went for a walk last week. I was like, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I was like, I used to work a lot harder.
I agree.
Like, I used to just work way more hours. Yeah. And my business used to be my hobby. And now I have other hobbies and I have like a busier life. I have a happier marriage because of it. But I used to work. There was a point where I remember Jacqueline's relatives happened to be around while we were on vacation and I was working and they were like, Mark works like a lot. And they're like, she's like, oh yeah, I guess so. Doesn't everybody? But I've kind of gone down to like normal level, I guess. And I was like, I think I just need to work more. And
but you're working in your mind. Your brain is working.
Yeah, no, but I actually mean, like, I used to sit like, I'm going back now to like much earlier days, but yeah, I would work. I would come home. I would get home for 6:30. The kids would go to bed at 7:30, and from 8 o'clock till like midnight every night, I would work. And I would get up the next day and I would go to work and I'd work all day. And I did that every day. And I would work on Saturdays, or Saturday mornings, or I would work Sunday evenings, and I would play around with stuff. And I don't do that anymore. Like I get up early and I make the most of my time, but the evenings I spend with the kids or with Jacqueline or doing things like I don't do that anymore. Weekends, I rarely work on a project. Like, I won't even open my laptop Friday to Monday morning type thing. And so it's like, I think I just need to work a lot harder. And I think I need to get back to a place where, because now my IG stuff is all my hobby, like the IG stuff and podcasting and Mark Drager and all that stuff. Like, I play around in things that aren't in the business anymore and at the house and everything else. And so, yeah, I think all of those things add up to just this feeling that that I had something, that I don't have it now, and I'm not sure if I could get it back again or if it'll even. I don't want to be 10 years from now still dealing with the same things, man.
Then let's go, Mark. Then let's go, buddy.
I just keep waiting for you and for Louie and for Alex and for everyone to just like give up. Everybody's patience is so. I just keep waiting for them to be like, dude, and that's the other thing. It's I thought you were somebody, and now that I know you, I don't think you're really somebody. And then like that, yeah.
That's something to prove, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I don't think everybody deals with this version of this. Everybody has their own things, but.
For sure, everybody's got their own things. Yeah, I don't look back and say, oh my God, I wish I could be 2013 Evan again. Jesus.
You don't look back at all. You don't remember the conversation we had last night at 9:30.
I remember enough. I remember what's important about it. Yeah, it's the same thing. It was going back to episode 32. We brought Jacqueline in about your 10-day work days.
Oh, you remember that. You remember
4-day weekends. And
yeah, that was last October. That was coming out of this period where I thought, I've got it all figured out.
And the answer was no.
You guys never let me try. You never let me try. So for anyone who's listening, who's new.
Go watch episode 23.
No, it would have been season
56
to something. But anyway, I had this idea that, on Fridays I used to drive home and just be so focused on work that I didn't want to slip into weekends. And on Sunday evenings, I'd be so focused on friends and family and connection that I didn't want to slip back to work. And I found the transition really hard. So my idea was to spend like 10 days working straight and then spend 3 days off and then spend 10 days working, 3 days off. And it would all kind of even out in the end. I thought it was brilliant. Evan did not like it. And Jacqueline, like it was just a non-starter with her. She came on the podcast to yell at me for what a stupid idea it was. So
that was her only appearance, I think, on the podcast.
Possibly. And that was when we used to record it over in Rachel's little art corner.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So the solution is not to extend the periods of non-jumping. The solution is to jump more. That's what you're trying to do. So you got to jump more, but you got to pick the things. Like, I think the key is it's not, again, the two options are you forget about it and just totally immerse yourself in the digging, which you're not going to do, or think about productive things. You're going to naturally slip into the dream and then how you're not good enough. Like you're just going to naturally go there. And then it's catching it and focusing it on, okay, I'm spending this time anyway. Let's use it to be productive on something that's going to help my business grow, whatever project that is. Like you could have been on a call with Louis, helping him with something 6 hours on your excavator. Like you could have done a ton of stuff, 6 hours on the excavator, even though you don't have your laptop and you're not in your office. There's a lot of things you could have done.
I listened to podcasts. I learned about health and worked. Yeah.
No, but you're thinking about the future and what you could be and how you're not good enough. That's what you're spending, maybe not all 6 hours, but you spend a whole chunk of time focused on thinking on the wrong thing instead of actually building some kind of momentum towards something. So the time on your vacation that you are going to be spending thinking about work because it's going to come up naturally, it's intentionally shifting how you think about it to creating momentum on one of your projects.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so practical steps, that's going to come up most often when you're by yourself working on something physical, right?
I was just looking at the time.
That's going to happen most often when you're by yourself working on something physical, right? Like when you're snuggling with Rachel on the couch watching Jeopardy.
I watched an episode of Jeopardy off of Netflix with Jonah the other day. He's like, what is this? And anyway, my grandparents used to listen to Jeopardy every day, and so it actually made me really, really sad and sentimental.
You're going to be in the zone and answering the questions and loving Rachel and being sentimental that she's getting older and won't want to snuggle with you in 2 years and all this stuff. Great. Okay. But you're not thinking about business. It's when you're going to be alone by yourself doing something physical that, I mean, you could shut off and you could go podcast mode and just learning mode, but that could even lead to you thinking, oh, yeah, look at all these people doing all these great things. What am I doing? I'm not good enough. Where am I? So while you say learning, yes, it's learning, but really it's negative self-talk then kicking in to say, look at all these people doing great things. I suck. I've been at this for 10 years. I'm still nowhere closer, blah, 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 blah.
That does happen. You may have hit on something there.
Great. Right? How we built it. Great. And then it's the natural comparison to I didn't build it yet. I suck. Perfect. So when you know, like, what's the next physical project you're doing today or tomorrow?
Digging holes, man. So yeah. So I'm going to rent a post hole digger, but I have to dig 16 holes.
When's that happen? Today or tomorrow?
It was supposed to start today, but I ordered the concrete, so I'm going to pick it up tomorrow.
Okay. So tomorrow, how long is that going to take you to dig 16 holes? 4 hours?
And set it.
I don't know.
And I have to pour concrete.
10 hours? How long are you going to take?
It'll probably take 2 to 2.5 days.
Oh, okay, great. Okay,
but like 20 hours maybe.
Perfect. So what are you going to do? So this is it. This is the moment. You can plan this. You know you have to do this work. You know you're going to get sidetracked. You know you're going to come out feeling depressed about yourself, your life, about everything that happened, and you go back to 2013, Mark. You know this is going to happen.
And at the same time, extremely proud about how awesome and straight those posts are.
No, so this is great. I want you to get the best of both worlds. You're going to make awesome straight posts, and in these 20 hours of work, what are you going to, with intent, focus on a project to help your business grow?
I will think about that.
Well, what's something that you can get momentum on? What's missing or what's slow? I mean, sure, my landing page, but whatever. Like what would you be as proud as you are of the straightness of your poles that you put into the ground? Great. What can you equally be proud of the thought exercise you went through to then create momentum that you can take those notes or whatever you did and in half an hour bang out something amazing?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really big client project that's I have 4. You're one of them, but I have 4 clients who are all waiting on me to respond to them with something. Okay. So
okay, but
getting those responses done would be really good.
Great. So you have 20 hours.
Yeah.
Get those responses done.
I only need like 45 minutes per response. And
okay,
I can do it with my transcription software. So that's good.
Yeah.
I used to do notes while jogging. When I would go on 1-hour runs, I always felt guilty for taking an hour to go on a run because that's a long time. So I would run my transcription software while I was running and then take notes.
And what would you take notes on? What would you talk about?
It was either messaging like Fanta messaging back when I was working on the pivot or the rebrand. It would be like notes to give to Louis for team or structure.
Yeah, there you go.
Or content, like scripting content for videos.
Yes. You think 1 hour jog is a waste of time, yet you're going to spend 20 hours digging holes with concrete, and that's fine.
While I'm on vacation. This is why I don't do it. This is why my vacations are so Jack thinks I have an issue saying yes to too many things. She thinks I say yes to way too many things and overcommit, and then do a lot of them really, really poorly. But
I think you could do more.
I save so much of it for we'll do that while on vacation. We'll do that while on vacation. We'll do that.
Okay, but on those 20 hours,
madness.
Those 20 hours, you're going to spend either one, listening to podcasts and then tell yourself you're learning, but really just feeling worse about yourself and where you're at in your stage, or 2, just period feeling worse about yourself and what you should have been creating. So instead, we're not listening to podcasts and we're not daydreaming. We're solving project problems. So 20 hours allocated across your 4 clients, you'll still have time left over. And whether you need to transcription software, get on the call with Louis or Alex or anybody, me, whatever, you're getting on the call with people and you're making stuff happen. So you have all 4 of your projects done and you have perfectly straight poles.
Posts. Poles are round. Posts are square.
I don't care.
Come on, Evan.
Momentum,
Come on, Evan.
Dude. Always be jumping. That's all that's missing. But you can plan this. You know you have to do that work. That's when you're going to get depressed, is in the middle of doing that work. And now you can switch it to say, no, I'm going to spend those 20 hours working on this. I'd be proud of you too to have a landing page by the end of it. That'd be amazing.
Then I would send it to you and I'd be like, hey, Evan, here's the landing page. I love it. And you'd be like, dude, this isn't good enough, man. This is not Mark Drager stuff. That's what you said last time when I sent you a landing page my eyes were all a twinkle and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Wow. And you're like, no, this is not.
That's a whole other story. But you know with predictability when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and now you have an exact solution for how to attack it in advance of it happening.
I guess so. I guess
so. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it was only on this call when I was like, hey, I guess it's the 3rd year in a row we're around this time. I remember after Tony Robbins, when we went originally 2 years ago, I remember Christmas being really worried about Christmas, but it went well. But I guess what it is, it's like we've spent the last, I spent 4 years ago, I started to pivot the business. And then 2 years ago, we really started to deconstruct, right? Like before we can we've really started to deconstruct who I am and what I stand for and who do we need and where are we going and who do we help? Deconstruct. And every time that I'm like, we're at the bottom of the valley, let's go.
There's another valley. Okay.
Yeah. It's just, it's not another valley. The valley just keeps getting deeper. I keep thinking we're on the way up and it's just like, it's just knock after knock after knock. And so at a certain point, and the more self-aware I become about my lack of, my lack of people skills, my lack of leadership, all of these things, it's just, yeah, at a certain point you go, what am I doing? And why am I doing it? Again, for my team, if you're listening, it's not that I doubt the mission or the company. It's I doubt myself.
Oh my God. Now our podcast has become the Hedge podcast.
That's not a hedge.
Oh, okay.
Why is that a hedge? Why is that a hedge?
It's a hedge.
Why?
That's not important. What's important is you're going to spend the time building, dude. Like this is what you were going to do tomorrow when you start your 20-hour marathon. You're going to start thinking about how it's just another valley. And when's the bottom of this valley? I can't believe we're still learning and I still suck and I'm a crappy leader. Oh my God. Let me listen to some podcast about how this great entrepreneur did something amazing. And I'm going to feel even worse about myself coming out. Like you're about to sign up for 20 hours straight of torture.
So I shouldn't listen to Jocko anymore?
Nope.
I started listening to him and I'm like, oh man, like that guy's a good leader. I need to be a better leader.
I honestly, I think you really need to pay attention to how do you feel at the end of those sessions? Because you've been approaching it as learning, which is great. But if you feel worse about yourself coming out of it, it's not serving you. So if listening to Jocko makes you feel better about yourself, great, do it. If listening to the How Built Was Done, whatever podcast, right?
Oh, I built this on NPR. I haven't heard that podcast in a long time, but
well, whatever. Like
I like that you remember it though. If
that makes you feel worse, then don't do it. Because the Mark's mental state is more important than a specific nugget of knowledge. Because you're not doing anything about it. So the extra knowledge isn't serving you.
I wonder, you're not going to like this question. I wonder what the listeners think I spend all day doing, because every time we come on this podcast, they get a very small sliver, like a very intimate window.
I wonder what Mark does all day as well. Wasting a lot of time. There's a lot of I'm just convinced there's so much wasted time. Even when he thinks he's doing work, it's on the wrong thing. There's just so much wasted time. It's better, but it's still a lot. There's a lot of just the wrong stuff, which is frustrating. It's like, man, you could go so fast. Let's just go. Just build, just create, which is the frustration last night. Instead of actually building the landing page, you're like, we should put you into our structure in our team so they understand. Nobody needs to understand. That's the wrong decision. Don't even think about that stuff. It's not what we need right now. Landing page. Yes. There's a lot, but whatever. Newsflash. Everybody wastes time. I waste time. I did an IG live with Kevin OLeary on Monday, and the hour before was just a total waste of time. I booked off an hour to learn about Kevin and what he's doing because I don't know his latest. I just know Shark Tank guy. So I booked off an hour before. Normally, like 10 years ago, it would have been, oh my God, a week of just stress and anxiety and what perfect question. So I booked off an hour and I was good. Up until that hour, I did everything else. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I got an hour to worry about it. And then the hour hit and I spent 15 minutes kind of understanding what he was doing, what his new company is, questions I'm going to ask, the story. I got it down. In 15 minutes, I was good. And I spent 45 minutes just wasting time. I couldn't do anything else. I just practiced it again and tried to go to email. I'm still thinking about Kevin OLeary. Don't want to disappoint. Practice it again. Just a waste of 45 minutes of wasting my time. And then we did it and it was great. Of course, of
course.
No, but like logically it makes sense. I've already done it. Kevin's great on camera, right? I've already done all these big names. Of course it's going to go well, but the emotional side takes over. So, I wasted 45 minutes on Monday. But yeah, I mean, you waste lots of time every day thinking you're doing important stuff, but it's not important. So
I need Evan to come and
oh my God,
audit every decision.
Yeah, I might need like anxiety medication again for that. That's a rough. I mean, we're doing it we're microdosing right now. Microdosing.
That's what
you're
the vapors do, right?
you're microdosing. That's what's happening. When you send me a message saying we should put you into our system instead of finishing a landing page, that's a microdose. These podcasts are a microdose.
So this morning, I was like talking to Jack, and I told you on the podcast 2 weeks ago, I guess, that she got invited to audition for Orange Theory Fitness, which is something that has been a goal of hers and she's been working towards and she thought was far off. And then suddenly so she finds out the audition is Tuesday. And so this morning I was like, hey, how you doing? She's like, I did not sleep last night. She's like, I was just thinking about what am I going to do in the audition and writing notes and practicing. And it was like 1 a.m. She's like, she looked at her watch or whatever, REM. She only got 5.5 hours sleep according to it or something. And I was like, welcome to
every day
of being an entrepreneur and being us. You have a big thing Tuesday. I was like, you are not going to stop thinking about it until Tuesday.
Especially Mark Drager.
You are going to think about it nonstop and you're going to try hanging out with your friends. It's not going to be fun because you're going to be busy thinking about this other thing and you're not going to want to do anything. And the kids are going to come and bug you. And you're just like, I'm just trying to prepare for Tuesday. And then Tuesday will come and you'll rock it and it'll be amazing. But just prepare for the next 4 or 5 days of just nonstop worrying about it.
Okay. So you need to not listen to any podcast for those 20 hours.
Oh, dude, man. Podcasts are like, they feed my soul though.
No, I don't think they do. No,
I don't know if they make me feel like crap, but
no, I think legit like half of the podcasts actually are doing damage to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a separate experiment to document how are you feeling before, like just give yourself out of 10. How good is Mark feeling right now? Out of 10. And then rank it again after the podcast. How good is Mark feeling right now? And I think half the podcast you listen to would actually lower that score. I think it's a big problem. But for the next 20 hours, no, legit, I'm serious.
Your confidence in these things, you grab these little threads
that are true.
And your confidence, you're like, this is it.
Mark,
this is the thing.
We have enough history to know that the hitting ratio when I'm on to something is fairly high. Whether it's half of the podcast, a third of the podcast, all of the podcast, it's a big number. It's a big number. You feel worse about yourself after listening to them. And not in the good way that it like drives you forward. Like it dives you into anxiety, depression mode. So stop listening to them. The knowledge you're learning from them is not worth it. But anyway, for the next 20 hours, no podcasts. We're not listening. We're not consuming anything. We're creating. We're moving from consumption to you're building and you're building.
Oh, so where does this take me from? Hold on. In your thing, there's the wannabe, there's the complainers, there's the whatever, the wannabes, and one of them is someone who only spends all their time consuming, and one of them is actually who actually starts.
Great.
Producing.
You need to build. You're building something physical. What?
You don't remember the names of your different categories?
With the complainers, the dreamers, the wannabes, the achievers, and the high achievers. But it doesn't matter. This is now not into theory. Practical, next 20 hours of working on posts, not polls. You need to pick projects to create. You're not allowed to consume anything. You're not consuming anything, and you can't daydream and drift about how Fanta sucks. You have to go build projects for the business. Create. Use your notepad, use your dictation thing, whatever you need to do. And if it takes you 22 hours now because there's a little bit of delay and whatever, great. Build and build. If you want to see the episode that made Mark actually make those calls to his clients, check your video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe. We'll see you there.